You're listening to The Support Report with Be Present, where we share real stories from young adults and how support changed their lives.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Support Report with Be Present. I'm your host, Justin Peters, and today's guest is Julian Castaneda. Julian is a two-time cancer survivor who was first diagnosed at the age of 10. Through his experience, he realized the importance of providing hope to families affected by cancer. And with that in mind, Julian founded Bags of Love Foundation, which provides care packages, scholarships, and event tickets to those affected by childhood cancer. The remarkable thing is, he started this all in high school while he was catching up with classes at the age of 17. Julian, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me here. Really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about you and hear your story. So how about you start things off and just walk us through your cancer resume? You know, what were you diagnosed with and what did treatment journey look like for you?
Yes, so I was first diagnosed with leukemia at 10 years old. I went through 3.5 years of treatment, and then I was in remission for about 2 years and was diagnosed again at 16 years old. So this time around, when I was diagnosed, I was a lot older, high school, I was a sophomore in high school, and so it affected me a lot more because I had a lot more going for me, and I had like a lot of goals and stuff I wanted to do. And so with that, I started like my treatment, but it wasn't strong enough. So I started, getting chemo, and the first round of chemo, doctors realized that it wasn't. I built tolerance for the chemo, so they decided it would be best to do a bone marrow transplant. So I went ahead and got a bone marrow transplant, and this summer has been 2 years since that bone marrow transplant.
Nice. Congrats. So whenever you first heard that you were diagnosed with cancer, maybe that first diagnosis when you had diagnosed with leukemia at 10, what was your understanding of cancer? Had you had experience or exposure to cancer before, and what were your initial thoughts?
So when I was first diagnosed with cancer, I really had no idea what it was. I had heard of it, I seen like the commercials on TV as a kid, and so other than that, I really had no idea. And so going into it at a young age was really scary. Like I had no idea what was going on, what they were doing to me. I was just, going through the process, getting shots, getting procedures, all this stuff done without really knowing why exactly or what exactly was wrong with me.
And what initiated you to go to the hospital? And was there something that you thought was wrong with you? What transpired the fact of finding out that you were diagnosed with cancer?
Yes, so I believe at this time I was like in second and third grade, and so I was feeling really tired throughout. Like I believe it was like a week. It was like a week period. So I started feeling tired more and more as each day progressed, and I had like nausea. I was in the basketball team at the time, and during practices, I really couldn't keep up with all the teammates, my teammates and stuff. And each day it was just getting worse and worse, and I just kept on sleeping in. I was falling asleep during class. I was starting getting really pale. And then one day during lunchtime, I almost like fainted, and one of the lunch ladies saw me. So she grabbed me and she took me to the office and noticed how pale I was. So they recommended me to go to the, emergency room in the hospital to see what was wrong with me. And after that, they took me to Valley Children's Hospital, and that's when they did further, tests and realized that I had leukemia.
That is such a scary moment. How did your family react?
So at first, they were really shocked. It was sad. It was a lot to process. And I was really young. But overall, they were really supportive, and they were there for me in the hospital, doing whatever they could to, be there for me.
And when you relapsed and went back into the hospital, you said it was more challenging. I know just because probably you were more aware, and you mentioned you had other goals. Did the treatment experience in general seem a lot different from 10 to 16?
No, for me, it was pretty much the same because when I was first diagnosed, I was young, so my childhood was pretty much being in the hospital. I got used to it, and so being diagnosed again, even after I was in remission, I was still going to the doctor like every month, every 2 months, so I was still frequently there. So it became like almost like a normal thing for me. So being diagnosed again was it was difficult, but I was so used to just being at the hospital and going through all the process where like each procedure and each thing just it didn't have as big of a negative impact as it did like the first time around, because I knew exactly I like been through the process so many times already that it was like just another day for me.
Yeah, another day for you, but not another day for
Yeah.
anybody else. What's something that you tell people about, really living in the hospital that might surprise someone that's never done something like that?
The food. Sounds like good. Yeah.
What did you eat a lot of? What was your favorite meal and least favorite meal?
My go-to would be the Jello.
The Jello?
When I really need it. Yeah. But I was lucky enough to have my mom there with me all the time, and so she would actually like cook for me. They had like the Ronald McDonald House there, and so she would go out and buy groceries and then cook me a homemade meal, and that really helped a lot because I really didn't like the hospital food.
That's awesome. What was your favorite meal that she cooked for you?
I'm really a big soup person, so any soup she made, I just loved it.
So what about outside of your mom, what did support look like for you? Did you have a lot of other extended family or friends that came to visit you in the hospital? What how would you define support?
Yes, so throughout my treatment, I always have family and friends just coming through and visiting, and that really helped a lot. Knowing that they're just having company there during the hospital is like it's nice. And so if anybody else is diagnosed and has to take them in the hospital for a long time, it's just good to have somebody there with them and just to like spend time with them and talk to them and get them out of their zone where they're just in the hospital, and get them out of their thoughts and stuff.
So acting as being present with them, acting as a distraction is something that I hear pretty frequently from the people that come on the podcast. Is that fair to say that's kind of what you were seeking or looking for?
Yeah.
And were there other patients in relative age to you in the hospital as well?
Yes. So the first time I was diagnosed, like there's a lot of at Children's Hospital in Madera. There's a lot of children there, and that were my age, but I just never really interacted with them, especially when you're in the hospital, because you're like in different rooms, so you don't really go out and interact with them. But then when I was diagnosed the second time and was treated at City of Hope, we had like I was like on the team floor, so we had like every day we had like a group session where we would just interact and play board games and do stuff together, and I thought that was just really cool, and it gave us a way to just interact with others who are going through it, just like us.
Yeah. So you were in the middle of high school whenever you got when you relapsed and got diagnosed again at 16, and then did you transition back to high school after treatment was over?
Yes. So I received my transplant in the summer, and then I was doing homeschool for the beginning of high school, my junior year, and then I returned to I returned it to school in class near like the middle end of my junior year. So when I returned back, we only had like 2-3 months left of school.
And did it feel the same? Were your friends the same? Was classes? Did it feel normal? Did it bring you some normalcy, or what were your feelings whenever you stepped back into the high school?
So going back, it was fun. It was exciting, knowing that I was just back normal. I was ready. I was ready to just make a difference, and this was like the new start, new beginning. So it was nice to just be back and be back with everyone and just talk to everyone.
And you mentioned make a difference, which is a great segue in for Bags of Love. So let's talk a little bit about your foundation. How did this concept start? Like, where was it initiated?
So I always knew I wanted to make a difference and didn't know exactly where or how. And throughout my time in the hospital, one person I always talked to a lot was my uncle, and we had like talks on starting something similar to what I'm doing. I'm doing care packages, and so when I went back to high school, I started brainstorming different ideas on what I could do that would make a difference and help people in the hospital by letting them know like that they're not alone. And so that's when I thought of doing care packages. So when I returned to school, I did it. I started raising money for care packages. So I did that by selling boxes of chips. So when I first started, the first day I had one box of chips. I sold that within the first day, and then I went back to the store and reinvested all my money and got 2 boxes of chips. So then I gave one to a friend. We sold those chips. We kept reinvesting it. And time next thing you know, I have like 10, 15 friends selling boxes of chips for me. And so by the end of this was also like illegal in school because we weren't like an approved club yet. So we were just doing this doing this on our own. And so before we got in trouble and they like shut it down, we like raised like $1,000 by then.
Wow.
So with that, I made our first 50 care packages and delivered those to Valley Children's Hospital in the summer. Yeah.
So the concept from the get-go, as soon as you started selling chips, was to create care packages, or did that concept kind of come about whenever you started thinking, okay, I got a couple $100, now $1,000, what am I going to do to make an impact? So when did the concept of the Bags of Love come in?
So it always started since the beginning. The goal was always to get care packages, and then as we started slowly growing, that's when we started giving out scholarships and then event tickets.
So what do you put in the care packages?
So we put a hat, bear, water bottle, coloring books, crayons. We try to put a gift card, and we put wristbands, pop socket, and a few other items in there to make them, just comfortable and give them something to do while they're in the room.
And how did you decide that? Were you pulling from your own experience about, thinking about what you would have wanted in that moment?
Yes. So a lot of it came from, thinking to myself, while in the hospital, what would something I would want? What is something I needed that I didn't have from home that I might have, wanted? And so just thinking of all these ideas, I pulled them all together and put them into the care package.
That's so cool. So after you assembled the bags, did you go to you went to the hospital and distributed them?
Yes. So I went with a couple of my friends and to help me, fundraising stuff. And so we went to Valley Children's Hospital. We delivered them to their, department and stuff. And then we were able to interact with their the patients in their playroom. So we did some paintings with them and stuff. And so that was really fun.
Was what was their reaction, the patient's reactions whenever they received the care package?
They loved them. We weren't able to go to each patient's room to give them to them that time around. But we did get we had like a card in there, motivational quote we put in each bag, and then
Cool.
we have like information where they could contact us, and if they need any support or want to talk to somebody, like we're here for them. And we got a few messages back from patients who said they loved it and they enjoyed the bags, even from parents too. Yeah.
So after you distributed the bags, did you go back to school and start to raise some more money? Did you bring this illegal function into legality and create an official club?
Yes. So this was my senior year. When I went back to school, I started raising money so many different ways. I started selling shirts. These shirts right here.
Those are cool shirts.
Yes. So we started selling shirts, wristbands, pop sockets, hats. We were doing we were selling churros at the football games. We were just any way possible. We're just finding creative ways to raise money and selling chocolates. We sold beef jerky, and we did a lot of fundraising to continue and keep our program going.
And your program has grown. You talked about obviously the care packages is kind of your bread and butter, but you do scholarships now and event tickets. Can you talk a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So the scholarships started my senior year. I was applying for scholarships, and I realized we had fundraised a lot of money, and I was like, I think it would be really cool to just give a scholarship out to someone who needs it. So I was able to start to create an application, and I sent that out to a couple hospitals. And the one applicant that stood out the most to me was from Robertson Hospital. He's a cancer survivor who had his leg amputated, and it's a foster child, and so now he wants to become a nurse and work at Valley Children's to give back. And so he has a really cool, inspiring story. And it was funny because I had received scholarships and then graduated, and then 1 week later, right after I graduated, I was giving the scholarship out to this person who was older than me and was already in college, and it was a fun experience.
That sounds like a really cool experience. And now that you went away to college, did the team disband? I mean, you guys are probably all over the place now. Where is Bags of Love Foundation now? Are you guys still creating care packages?
Yes. So this past school year, the end of the school year, we gave out 3 scholarships. Yeah, we gave out 3 scholarships, and then right now we're just holding back on care packages. We have them ready, but since we can't really go out and deliver them right now because of everything that's going on. So we're just got them loaded and ready so that when they do open back up, we're ready to deliver them to the patients.
That's exciting. What you keep all the care packages at your parents' house? Do you have a little warehouse there?
Yeah, pretty much. Our garage isn't something my mom likes to see right now.
Well, I'm sure she's proud of what you're doing. And I love some of your fundraising ideas too. It's been you recently had your 2nd annual glow party. Is that correct?
Yes. We had our 2nd annual.
Mm-hmm. And your first one was in person, and this one had to go virtual, correct?
Yeah.
So, how was the experience? The glow party was that was a unique fundraising idea in general. So, how did you think of that concept, and how did it change from last year to this year?
Yes. So I first found this out last year when I graduated high school, and I always like to think of ideas outside the box that other people aren't doing. I want to attract people to an event because there's so many different events going on, and so many, like every nonprofit always has a gala, and so I wanted to do something different. So I thought, why not have a glow in the dark dance? That sounds fun. um, so I had graduated high school my senior year. I was just watching Netflix for like a good week, just straight Netflix, nothing else, and was like, wow, this has been really unproductive. I need to do something. So I looked into like our account at the time, our bank account, and we had $1,000. So I was like, how can I reinvest this and make more money out of this? And so that's when I came up to the idea of the glow in the dark dance, and I was like, I think, like, I really believed I could, I was like, I can make this happen, even though it's like $1,000. We could figure this out. So I started calling venues up, and I was able to get a venue for $500.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was really exciting, and it was super cool. So I started calling DJs up, and then I was able to get a DJ for free, So he dedicated his time, volunteered his time to come out to this event, and so with that we have like $500 left. So I used that for decorations, printing tickets and flyers, and then started getting to work by looking for sponsors. This was my first time ever looking for sponsors. I didn't know how to do it, so I was just going door to door, business to business, telling my story and telling them what we're doing and how we're looking for sponsors for the event. And I ended up getting like a pretty good amount of sponsors from really good, well-known businesses in our local area. So that was really that worked really well. And then at the end of the day, during the event we had like about like 50 people attend, which was really good because I really didn't know how exactly to do this, So it was just my first time, I was winging everything. And so we raised about like 3,000, I believe.
Wow.
And it was a fun event, and it was a really good experience, and I learned a lot from it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how'd you get the DJ to come for free?
Well, I just, told them my story, and, told them what we're doing, what we're all about. And he was just really, he was really into it, and really loved our idea, our dedication, and wanted to just give that.
Mm. And then this year, obviously with COVID, you had to go virtual. Was it a successful event as well?
Yeah. Way more successful than I thought it would be for a virtual event. So that was good. We raised this year virtually. We did a little over $4,000 we raised.
Wow.
So that was good. And so yeah, it was a fun event.
Wow. So you did better this year than you did last year, even though you had to go to a virtual setting.
Yeah. I think it worked well since we're able to connect with people all over the place, and it wasn't just like a local event.
Mm. Yeah, I've loved some of the virtual music festivals and stuff that have been throughout the summer. It's been a nice alternative. It's doesn't necessarily top being in person for some of those things, but I like that at least I have some kind of connection to it. I learned something, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I read somewhere that one day you want to have your own music festival as well. Is this correct?
Yes, this is correct. I want, like, one of my goals is to have a music festival, and like all the proceeds would benefit our organization and childhood cancer, and this would be a way to have fun while also spreading awareness and having a good time with all these cool musicians and stuff. And yeah, that's like one thing on my bucket list.
That is neat. I will definitely be there if that happens. What about other long-term goals of Bags of Love?
Long-term goals. So at the moment, we want to keep expanding to different college campuses. We, I graduated with many of my friends who see me go through treatment and cancer, and so they're really dedicated with Bags of Love, and so they started like chapter clubs at their colleges, and so right now we have about like 10 different colleges who have chapter clubs that are either running or getting started. And so that's a great way right now where we're just slowly expanding and spreading awareness on many different campuses in California. And so we want to continue to keep that growing. And then we want to expand our programs and do like a summer camp, do what is it called? Like financial assistance to families, if they need it. And we want to just our vision is to be, the number one, childhood cancer organization.
In the world?
Yeah.
Man, I love your ambition. Yeah. You're something else.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to see what you have. I mean, you've built such a great foundation already at, like I said, the age of 17, and you're what, 19 now, 20?
Yeah, 19.
19. That's crazy. You have so much in front of you. I'm really excited to see how you grow. Before I ask my last question, if people want to be involved or get involved with Bags of Love, where can they find you and learn more about the organization?
Yeah, so we have our website, bagsoflovefoundation.com, and then our Instagram too, bagsoflovefoundation_. So there you could, but our Instagram, we're always updating everything, our events, any news. So our Instagram is the best way to, contact us and stay in touch.
And I haven't seen one, but do you have like a live series on Instagram as well, where you bring in cancer survivors or patients and have conversations with them? Did I see that right?
Yeah. It's so we have a survivorship series that's live on Instagram that we try to do. That we try to keep up with and interview patients who have been through cancer and just talk about it. And, it's a way for others to know, to, realize that, everybody can get cancer, and that it's a way to just spread awareness on it.
Well, you're doing a lot of important work. And through your experience, my last question, both having a support network and being so involved as a supporter, and with, September coming up here and being Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and in your opinion, what's one thing that someone can do to make a difference in the lives of children and young adults with cancer?
There's so many different ways, but I think one important thing is just to, spread the word. Just spreading awareness, letting people know about childhood cancer and just cancer in general. It's a great way to just get started, and you can volunteer with the organization and help do that on an easier level. And there's just so many different ways to get involved, but one way would just be volunteer with the organization, with their local organization, and then just spread awareness.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, well, Julian, it was a pleasure having a conversation with you, getting to learn a little bit more about your story and your foundation. I encourage everybody out there, if you're listening, to go check out Bags of Love. You got a lot of great content out on your website. I'm excited to jump on your survivorship series and see one of those interviews. And I'm looking forward to that music festival here and hopefully the near future.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, thanks again, Julian. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.